Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. Today we have Steve Fitzgerald and Gidae Campbell from PGCMLS, and they're going to talk about what all goes into being a public librarian. You're going to get to hear from Gidae Campbell, who's worked at New Carrollton and also currently at the Mount Rainier branch. Hope you enjoy. All right, so we are here today with Gidae Campbell. Gidae is one of our librarians. Can you tell us a little bit, Gidae, about where you work and what you do?
Currently, I work at the Mount Rainier Library. I'm the supervisor there. And right now, some of the things that I'm doing during the closure is trying to think of some programs that we can kind of push out there virtually that might show people what they can do as far as fixing up their resumes, things that they can do for self-improvement over the break or over the lockdown, I'm sorry. But before all of that, my main passion was helping kids and helping teens and giving them opportunities to pursue, I guess, the career paths that they're interested in. So, for example, Mount Rainier, we have a couple of boys that come, and one of the things that they were really interested in was hopping into Roblox and just focusing on playing the games. And I noticed, okay, you guys are coming in, and this is something you guys were doing before we closed for the remodeling. And now we're back and you're still doing it. So let's try to break out some of these habits. So we've been doing homework, or we were doing homework. We were doing game nights. I was trying to promote books for them to read. We had a few kids that would come in and just start grabbing things off the shelves and reading them. So after a while, you started seeing the improvement. Um, so that's kind of where my passion goes, where my passion lies in with working in the library system is just hoping those kids see where they can go.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you, first of all, for your passion with dealing with our youth. Um, what are your thoughts about like what's going to happen to our youth? Like they always talk about summer slide. Now these kids are virtually learning for a couple months. So what kind of impact do you envision that having on our kids?
So I feel like there are a few outcomes that we can see from this. We can see a stronger summer slide effect where kids who don't have the proper tools to access internet or to access virtual programs, they might be stuck trying to find ways to occupy their time, which could be either creative projects or it could be things that they probably should not be getting into, depending on what goes on in their household and what type of environment they're in. Then we can also see a group of kids who take advantage of this opportunity to develop more skills to grab more information using the virtual connections that they have now so they can go to classes. They could probably go back to those same classes and do some deeper study. So it's all on how the child or the student decides to approach the situation. And at the same time, it's also dealing with the parent. If the parent says, okay, I'm going to set aside this time for you to do this type of work or to do this type of focus, um, that all of that has a strong play into this. I'm hoping that the mass majority of kids um, get deeper into digital learning and virtual learning because I honestly think that's going to be the future from all of this is working from home, learning from home, shopping from home. It's things that we already do, but it's just going to become more prevalent.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely hear you about how kids can go kind of one way or the other. And, they talk about the digital divide all the time, and it hasn't made more sense than right now. There are
Yeah,
just so many kids, both in our community and in the country, in the world at large, that don't have computers, don't have internet access. So this is kind of a really scary time because it defines the haves and the have-nots, and it kind of further accentuates that divide.
right.
Um, so the library, we're really trying to figure out how we can reach all of these people. The school system is doing the same thing as well. How can we reach all of these individuals, who don't have internet? So there's a lot of people really spinning their wheels trying to figure out delivery options, things like that. Our branches offer drive-up Wi-Fi, so folks can
Right.
always come drive to any of our 19 branches and hang out in the parking lot, bring their device.
Right.
Um, all you would need is a library card and your PIN number, and you can access our Wi-Fi for free. Um, but yeah,
And
it's
that's a start.
yeah,
That is better than nothing.
right, yeah. But what you said about kids can really make this their own is entirely true because never before has their education kind of been within their own grasp. So
Right.
it's what you want to learn and what you want to take out of this. Hopefully, we can kind of push our some of our youth in the right direction. But
Yes.
thanks for doing that and having that philosophy and that background.
It's
So a
like right
little,
now, there's a new normal. I'm saying it's so different now. Um, like some of the things we've been doing, I've been trying to really push on her like math and reading, and
mhm,
even though I'm a librarian and I've done story time, and I know that the younger ones learn through playing, singing, writing,
mhm,
and reading and things like that. But if you're too impressive on them, then they're going to back up and they're not going to want to learn. So I've handed over. We've been working with ABC Mouse, and I've learned that she's able to navigate through ABC Mouse, go to her classroom, go
mhm,
home on her own, get
yep,
the activities that she wants to do, and she's good. So
yeah.
I'll sit there with her, I'll kind of guide her, but then after we get to where we need to go, she'll just take control. So I'm pretty proud of that. I'm hoping that she will continue to want to learn
That's
using this
great.
type of devices.
Oh, that's great, man. Is are you doing like on a phone or a tablet or actually on a computer, which is the most difficult for kids?
So I'll use my computer.
Hmm.
Fortunately, this one is touchscreen, so she can kind of touch the screen. Um, then she'll use my phone. She'll use her mom's phone. Um,
Yeah,
but she recognizes the symbols and she kind of uses that to get through.
that's great. Yep, we've been on ABC Mouse as well, and there is a such thing as a one-click mouse. So
Mm,
we just bought a one-click mouse. It was like $10 from Amazon, and it really helps her. It avoids a lot of frustration by right-clicking and all of those options that come up. So
wheel.
yeah, exactly. There's no wheel. Yep, there's no right-click. Um, it's got to be hard to not be able to work. So when the library system closed, we had an entire month where only certain folks were allowed to work, um, and that was first difficult for those folks who did have to work, but I'm sure it was also difficult for everybody who couldn't work because everybody wants to be able to contribute in their own way. it
Right.
gives it gives them a sense of accomplishment, um, but it also kind of defines your purpose. So if you don't mind, it's a bit personal, but what was that like just mentally going through that process of you're not working, and if you want to work, I'm sorry, but you can't.
Right. Um, I'll be completely honest. I'll start from the very beginning when news started spreading in America about COVID. A lot of people didn't take it seriously. I noticed that the numbers started rising in other countries, and then it started. People were coming to America who had reportedly had cases of it. So I knew that eventually this would be something that was going to spread.
Hmm.
But to think that we will be closed this long is not something that I prepared for mentally. And think this, I think a lot of other librarians felt this way as well. I think we thought to ourselves, okay, this thing looks bad. We may close for a little while. We may close for a few days, maybe a week at most. That's okay. It might be a little break. It might be a chance to get things done that we need to do personally. But then after the second week, after the lockdown was extended, that's when it really hit me because that's when I was at home just bouncing off the walls, realizing the entire time I'm saying, oh, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. That's when I realized I'm not an introvert. I
Yeah.
cannot be in the house. I don't like sitting around. I like I like having objectives and something to do. and a goal to push forward to.
Hmm.
So when you see everything happening, the first thing you think of is, okay, what can I do to make sure I'm safe, and then to make sure that the people around me are kind of safe as well. But then you hear things in the news saying 6 feet apart, don't go here, don't go there. You're kind of in between a rock and a hard place because you're like, okay, I can't really do anything without, without legal instruction, without proper guidance. Of course, I want to do a virtual story time so badly, but I know there are legal guidelines to reading certain materials online. And I know we just got new information on it, so I'm going to actually read over that to see what I can do. Um, but that's some of the problems I was conflicted with. And then for a time, my daughter's school was still open for about maybe 3 weeks or 2 weeks after we closed.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, okay, she's still in school. It's not that bad. Should I pull her out? The final day where we decided to actually pull her out is when their school closed, and that's when um, the workload got a little more intense because now I had a new focus, a new objective, finding crafts for her, finding things for her to do.
Yeah, we definitely respect all of these public teachers and educators, at every level, because that is such a demanding job. And it's not just while they're at school, because teachers really are thinking about their students all hours of the night and planning for, their lessons at all times. So I think never before has the country as a whole had such an appreciation for teachers and education than right
Right.
now. It's sad that it took an experience like this for kind of teachers to get elevated to the forefront. But hopefully, when school resumes, teachers will be given kind of a new, renewed sense of respect. I hope. I'm hoping. But yeah, you're
Kudos to the
absolutely right.
teachers. Kudos to
Homeschool.
the teachers.
Kudos to the teachers. Thank you, teachers.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Okay, awesome. So, all right, so let's get into some of the library specific questions.
Sure.
People were asking just for us to collect stories. So, like,
Yeah.
for us to just have conversations with folks, on demand, and then, to call in or audio record what's going on and stick those on our website. So, that is
Yeah.
kind of an idea. It's in the back of our minds, something that we want to do. It's just a
Yeah.
matter
Because
of getting to
it's like
buy
we
in.
we're getting hit with all the news telling us what they want us to see, what's going on.
Yeah.
We're not hearing personal stories of people who might be surviving this, or people who might have had a breakthrough because of this. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a nice.
I could use this 1 minute clip to make a commercial. Prince George's. So I'm serious. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Prince George's County. We want to hear your stories. What's going on with you during this whole crisis? What do you have stories to share? Let us know how you're managing everything. Do you have a success story? Do you want to try to help other folks kind of deal with similar issues that you're talking about?
All right, we want to hear it.
So Library Voices is PGCMLS's new YouTube series, and the goal is really to humanize the library and let you all in the community know who we are and what we're all about. So we've got Gidae with us here today. Gidae works at Mount Rainier, and we just want to ask him a few questions and get to know Gidae a little bit. So
Awesome.
Gidae, what's your background first and foremost?
All right. I graduated from Morgan State University with a degree in English and creative writing. Originally, I wanted to be an English teacher. I wanted to teach poetry and things of that nature. Um, After I graduated, I went home and stayed with my mom for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, so where was I at?
You
I
went to
left.
Morgan
Yeah,
State University English, and then you kind of
yeah.
change of heart.
I graduated, went home, stayed with my mom for a little while. Was looking for a job. Was having some difficulty finding one because I was just having some trouble. And fortunately, she lived right down the street from the academic library. So I was able to go there and volunteer. So I decided I'm going to volunteer, see what I can do, maybe get my foot in the door. Um, while in the middle of all this, I'm still working on my music and I'm still doing shows, performing and things like that. But that wasn't really providing what I needed. Uh, so volunteered at the library, ran into a friend of mine who also graduated from Morgan, who was a librarian. Um, she recommended that I apply, put my foot in the door, and just keep coming, just keep volunteering until I hear word. I applied. I got in real good with the area manager at the time. It turns out there were other people in the system who knew me from other areas of my life and who I've worked with before, and they put in good words for me. So a year later, after applying, I finally got a call from Wakita saying, "Okay, we're gonna interview you, this and that, this and that."
Nice.
Man, I'm telling you, this is like I'm really blessed to be in this position. I went into the interview. Uh, the person who interviewed me was a former area manager. She was awesome. She retired. Um, but the interview was filled with just we were laughing, we were having a good time. I
Yeah.
helped her with some boxes beforehand, so it seemed like everything worked out. It seemed like I
Yep.
was I was I was this was meant for me. Um, I started working at Oxon Hill. That was my home branch, and it was fine because I lived in Oxon Hill. I went to Oxon Hill High School. I was familiar with the area, so I kind of knew what to expect. I started working, and I went through what a lot of new librarians and new LAs go through,
Hmm.
which is figuring out that purpose. Why am I here? Why am I in the library when it seems like all I'm doing is helping people print, or it seems like all I'm doing is planning programs that might not get off the ground? Um, and I was faced with that. I started feeling the burnout. I started feeling like I was trying to prove myself too much. Um, and then eventually I took a step back and I realized every program that I do is not going to serve every person. Every everything that I present, every resource that I present is not going to be helpful every single time. But my goal is to open the door and show people that if you come into the library, I may not have exactly what you need, but we can get it for you.
Right.
You know, we have those resources that are free for you. We have Kajits that you can take home with you. We have internet and computers that you can come here and use. We have materials that we can order from out of state that you can use. We have copy machines. We have different things that you can manipulate for your advancement.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I grew to love about the libraries because I didn't know that you could do all of this stuff here. When I was younger, um, I didn't use the libraries for the right purpose. I used the libraries to kind of just like to hide from school, to not go to school. That's kind of ironic, but it's what was done. And I
Yeah.
went to that same library. I went to Oxon Hill.
Huh.
And now, as a librarian, when I see students who do that same thing, who end up in the library during school hours, I don't press them out. I go to them, ask them if they're okay first. I recommend that they go back to class, that they continue to study, continue to pay attention. But then I also try to tell them, if you feel like you're in a tough spot, here's some materials that you can use to help lead you. Here's some career paths that you can take. So
Hmm.
it's a lot of options that we provide that really make me proud to work for the library system.
Thank you, Jade. It sounds like every person is unique and has different needs. Hopefully, the library has something that can help everybody. So
Yeah,
it's like kind of it's on us. It's our job to one talk to the people who are coming in, get to know them, identify with them, figure out what they need, and then hook them up with the resource that we feel could benefit them in their life. So
exactly.
thank you very much. That was an awesome description of library philosophy as a whole.
Yeah,
We can't help everybody. You're absolutely right. You can't help everybody all the time.
right.
that's those words ring
It's just
very true.
impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's we have to focus on what we can affect, the change that we can affect. If we're
Hmm.
constantly worrying about the failures of life, or that the patron who we couldn't assist for whatever reason, then we're losing focus. The focus should be on what we can do to help the next person, how we can
Right.
increase our knowledge of whatever resources we have, so that we can enable ourselves, or encourage ourselves to encourage each other.
Right.
Yep. You
Exactly.
you just answered like four questions in one. Well, the next one was going to be, would you say you grew up in a library? But your story about skipping school, I did
Yeah,
that.
obviously, I was
Yeah.
I was in and out.
All right. What can you describe your experience as a child? All right. So when you were growing up, you might not have been, as you said earlier, the best student at all times. But what kind of teenager were you? Can you try to paint a picture of yourself as a teenager before you were a working adult?
Okay. Mm.
You played in the band. What kind of music do you play?
Oh, yeah, I can tell you a lot about that. So currently I'm in a band called Onyx. We do like wedding parties, things like that. We do we're an event band, so we do the top 40s. We do Motown. We do some Bruno Mars. We
Nice.
do hip hop. We do country. We do requests. We do horror. We do a lot of different things.
Nice.
And I've been in that realm for about maybe 4 or 5 years now. Before then, I had a band called Minus the Sky. It was an original band. We were like kind of like a soul pop rock band, something like that.
Nice.
We were live for maybe 5 years. Went through a couple of band members. Went through a couple of name changes.
Yeah.
Um, but I can honestly say that was when I had that was a that was like I don't want to say that was my prime, but I had a lot of fun during that time of my life, just creating and building new relationships, new music, creating art. It was what I was there.
Awesome.
But growing up, it's funny. Growing up as a teenager, my teenage life is the complete opposite of what I am now and who I was going through college. Um, as a teenager, I was raised in the church, which which was great. It provided me with a lot of opportunities for growth and personal development. It provided me with chances to travel, meet a lot of new people from all over the world, and develop new, I guess, perspectives. Um, so I wasn't just closed in as I just live in Maryland or I just live in DC, but I kind of I spread out at a young age. Um, like a military child, but not in the military, had that experience. But at the same time, it kind of sheltered me from a lot of things. So um, growing up, I couldn't go to certain parties. I couldn't listen to certain music. I couldn't do certain things. So I had to just kind of live that type of low key life.
Hmm.
Um, but as I got older, after I attended Morgan, I started learning that there were other ways to live and that there are other ways to view and appreciate certain things. Um, so I started living my life. I started creating my own rules. I started saying, okay, I'm going to listen to this music. I'm going to play this type of music. I'm going to dance this type of way. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to live to the fullest, which was
Yeah.
honestly the best decision of my life because as a teen, I knew I was missing out on some things, that social aspect that a lot of kids, they get access to in school and programs like marching band and programs like playing football and things like that. But my restrictions were that high that I couldn't do certain things like that.
Hmm.
So as I got older, just to be able to break out and find out who I was, that's I'm still enjoying life every day. So I'm still finding out who I am,
That's great.
which is great.
Well, that's a great message to our youth, that just because you do something, you are not your actions.
Right.
You are not even a product of your actions. You are what you are thinking right now. And that can change. And to empower our youth, to educate our youth that they have the ability to create their own persona is a very powerful thing. And I'm just glad that we have people like you in all of our branches, because we have a lot of FaceTime with, our youth, and kids are going to hear the same message from parents, from teachers, from librarians, but they're not always going to absorb that information the same way. So somebody like you who's able to connect with people and greet them as an individual, not just as a student or a child or a patron or a customer, but actually as an individual, and then transmitting that message to them is very empowering, because we learn through our own experiences and through those shared experiences of each other. Um, so just, everything you're saying about how you were a certain way in high school and you're far from that now. I think that
Far
rings
from
true for,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think,
it's okay to change. It's
yeah,
okay to change.
right.
You just have to be. You can't change for other reasons. You have to change for yourself. You can't change because someone else wants you to change, or because a job has required you to change. Then you won't have fun.
Right.
That's no way to live. That is no
Yeah.
way to live.
You got to be a little bit selfish and, do what you think you should do, but still live within those, moral constraints. Like you said, you were raised in the church. So you're
Right.
still able to, do all these things that you
Yeah.
didn't feel like you could do when you were a teenager. And I'm sure you don't feel ostracized or,
No,
any certain way about who you used to be versus who you are now.
because the church taught me to treat everybody with the same amount of respect,
Mhm.
and that's one thing. If I didn't take anything away from it, that's the one thing I took away from it, was to treat everybody with respect, because I know that I want to be respected as well.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's a little bit selfish, but again, it
Yeah.
it puts your own, perspective on each other. What is it? The golden rule, right?
The golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah, I think across all, religion, across all religions, I think that rings true.
Yeah.
Yep. So cool. All right, we're gonna move on. What led you to become a librarian? I feel like you answered that one already.
Yeah, yeah. When I ended up volunteering, I ended up. Oh, I didn't mention when I did
Okay.
start volunteering. One of the programs I was assisting with was Lego Time, and it was at Akakeek, and it was a phenomenal program where the um, the children would come in. They would have a structure to build. So sometimes it would be robots, some days it would be countries, some days it would be free build. Um, but they would build it, and they would come up with some great creations. And at the end of it, we put them in a case, in a case so they can be viewed later.
Yep.
And we would display them, and they would be displayed for about a week. And kids will love seeing their stuff just
That's
on stand like that.
yeah.
I
Featured.
remember we had being featured like that. Thank you. We had a kid, and he was a great builder. He built this robot, um, very beautiful, very tall. And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna go do something real quick, and I'm gonna come back, and then we're gonna seal it." I said, "Okay, go ahead, and just be right back." He came back, the whole thing fell apart.
Oh
I felt so bad. Oh my gosh. But he came back next week and did it again. So it was like, okay, this is good. This is
no.
good.
We hope you're watching this, kid.
Right. I hope you're okay.
Was
Never
that an
stop
oxen?
building.
Yeah. Was that Oxen Hill?
It was Akakeek.
That was Akakik. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Um, so we're talking about librarians and, affecting change, but why is it important to serve the public, to begin with? Like that doesn't just apply to librarians, but everybody who has, a job that affects people have a similar goal. So why is it important to serve the public?
So the public is interesting. The public is compiled of so many different people with so many different skill sets and different abilities and different circumstances, where some people have the ability to search the internet for information they need. Others, they don't have that capability. They might not have the dexterity in their fingers. They might not have uh, the thinking strip to focus on a certain object. Um, so to have things like the library, Staples, to have things like that provide these resources for us, that provide workers and employees that are willing to dive in and lend a helping hand. I believe that's priceless, because if we were stingy with these resources, then the world would be a disaster at the moment. If doctors were stingy, if hospitals were stingy with the cures and with the medicine that they provided, there would be so many sick people out here. If people were stingy with the money that they loaned or that they donated, there would be charities collapsing. There would be families just dying because of that lack of donation.
Hmm.
Um, so I believe to have kind people in the public is what is going to keep the world moving and keep the world pressing,
Hmm.
because you need that generosity. You need people who are compassionate, who are willing to just help for the sake of it and not expect anything in return. Um, I hear a lot of talk. I get a lot of questions about whether libraries are going to be around in the future. Um, do I think that they're going to last? I think libraries should be here to stay. I don't see them going anywhere. I think we are the hotspot for providing resources. We are the hotspot for getting your life back on track if you
Hmm.
need help getting your life on track.
Yep. We have so many different services to offer to so many different portions of the population. What are some of our services here in PGC MLS that you feel very passionately about?
Oh, we have a lot of good services. I know we just got lynda.com back. We're getting that. It came back already?
It's already back.
Um,
Yep.
Perfect. Um, Before it left, I was using it a lot for just small learning tools like for art or for Microsoft Word, just to freshen up certain skills like that. I love that we have Mango for learning new languages, and it's accessible on your phone. So it's like you don't even need to be in the library to use it.
Yeah.
Um, we did have some programs, some services that you did need to be in the library to use, like ancestry.com, which was great for people into genealogy, people trying to find out their history. Um, we have a lot of great things we offer. I'm not even going to talk about the ebooks and the audiobooks and the homework help for the kids, because if you go to the website, you can find all of that there. Um, to be honest, if you go to the website, hop on digital service page, you will get lost in some of the things that we offer.
We
We have,
renamed it Online Library.
sorry, online library.
This one's here to
It's been
stay.
so long.
I know. But yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, no, it's
Your
fine.
your sentence was, but if you go to our website and then if you click on,
Yeah, if you go to our website, click on online library, you will get lost in the amount of resources that we have to offer. You're looking for information on car parts, we have something for that. You're looking for information on living healthy, we have information on that. You're looking for biographies or things to help with doing reports. We have a lot of things on our website. You just have to kind of hop on and just check it out.
yes, sir. Well, thanks for the plug.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I manage the website. So if you have any
Yeah, yeah. And this
questions,
guy does an amazing job. He has
thank
made it
you.
so friendly.
Oh,
Like
thanks, Gidae.
you've really done an awesome. I meant to say thank you for a lot of the work you've done with digital services, like the
Sure.
shout out wall, a lot of the effort in bringing the culture together and bringing
Hmm.
the PGCMLS community together. I appreciate it. I've seen the impact. It looks good to me,
Thank
and
you.
I know it can only go up from there. So
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we're
yeah,
a very disparate workforce because we're at 20 buildings. There's like 350 of us, and we don't know each other. So what we're just trying to create here internally is like just a network where we can share out honesty
Right.
opinions without fear, of any, without fear of anything. Um, so we have a lot of things in the works still forthcoming, to hopefully tie our work population together during this teleworking period. So more information will be coming out soon about that. But thank you for the kudos, and you are
Yeah,
doing
man.
awesome stuff too. Why should the average person use the library, and how could it help them become a more complete person? Just the average person.
Okay, I'm going to say the magic word right here: free. Why not? Why not save some money on a book that you might have paid $15 for? That I don't know your reading schedule. You might not. You might read it once, put it down. When you can go to the library and check it out for about 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks, and then you can read it without spending your money. Um, Praxis exams. We offer free praxis exam testing. We offer SAT prep. We offer a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about because they just think libraries are a home for books. When in fact we have what you might need to get that jump start in your life. Um, I had a good friend of mine. When I was working at Oxon Hill, she would come to the library, and she was working on her Microsoft certification. She was getting certified in Microsoft Office, and she was using lynda.com to do it. There was a small fee to finish it, but to go through it for free, I think that's incredible. Um, I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's incredible. Like, if you're average, why not save some money?
Yeah, man. You got it. We could all use a little bit of help, and this is taxpayer money that's going into,
Right?
a public system.
You're
People,
already paying for it, kind of.
exactly. Might as
Yeah,
well check out one of our 19 branches and see how we can help you today, even if it is
right.
virtually.
If you're an artist, I picked up a couple of drawing books.
Mhm.
I picked up a couple of piano books on piano lessons. So there's like, like plethora of things out there for you guys.
Nice vocab.
DVDs, educational, entertainment.
Yeah. Cool. All right, today, last two questions. How has working in the library helped you? Because it obviously has. How has it helped you find your voice?
Um, it's giving me a space. Right now, I'm at the Mount Rainier Library. I'm the supervisor there. But even before then, when I was working at Oxon Hill, when I was working at New Carrollton for a while, I had that window to create programs and to do things that I thought would help the public. So when I was at Oxon Hill, this was a few years ago, where we had different policies, but we did a back to school cookout. And the first year, it was kind of thrown on me, and I was like, I don't really want to do this. There's a lot of pressure because my job was to find someone to cook, find someone to provide donations of school supplies
Hmm.
and things like that, and just find a way to set it up. First year was a success. The second year was even bigger
Mm.
because we had sororities who wanted to participate. We had people donating materials. We had teen volunteers who wanted to come. We had people who were credible who wanted to cook, um, and we were able to pull it off. We served more than 300 people, gave away more than 300 book bags to students who I believe he needed them. Um, so to be able to do things like that, to be able to just have open mics at some libraries where teens can come out and express themselves, and
Yeah.
you can show them, okay, it's okay to just let yourself out.
Yeah.
You're here, you're comfortable, live your life.
Nice.
Um, that's what I appreciate about the library. It really has been a microphone for a voice.
Well,
It
that's
really
awesome.
has
That, that's great to
been.
hear. So it's not only providing a safe haven, and a place to be yourself for our visitors, but also for our staff as well. In your
Right,
case, that's awesome. That's
right.
great. That's great to hear today. Um, Is there anything else that you'd like to add? I mean, this has been a great interview. Hopefully, the community can really dive in and learn a little bit about what goes into being a librarian and some of our thought processes and things like that. But if there's any closing words that you have, please share out.
I want to encourage when the libraries do open up again, if library profession is something you're interested in, or archiving, or anything dealing with like history and things like that, come by, volunteer, get some community service hours. Just check us out, ask us questions, see where we can lead you, see if we can help you out.
Hmm. Cool.
And
And
stay safe during all this COVID.
stay safe.
Stay
All right,
safe.
Gidae. Well, thank you so much, sir.
Yes,
It
sir.
was
Thank you, Steve.
it was a pleasure talking with you.
Yes, sir. It was great. I appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, man. Go back to your daughter and your wife, and best to you. And hopefully, I'll see you in the coming days.
All right, man. Take care.
Okay. You too.
See you later.
Bye bye. Thank you.